As people, we tend to whine and bicker about our problems and difficulties, usually to others and sometimes to ourselves. And you should take a mental note of how you sound to yourself when you whine in your head. Oh, just look at me. I've got all these problems. Oh, look at me. These kids, they're so naughty. I've got so much debt. I've got so many problems. And so I myself actually joined this chorus of complaints. I wanted a new pair of shoes and I began to whine and bicker as well. I said, oh, look at me. I need a new pair of shoes. These shoes are old. I need new shoes, better shoes. And sadly, many people go through their lives, go through their days with this kind of discomfort and discontentment and sadly despondency. And I myself went through a similar stage, and I believe many of us have gone through that feeling and that experience. About a month ago, I was just going through my everyday usual life and I was feeling unhappy, unfulfilled and actually miserable. And I stopped, was walking somewhere and I actually began to cry. And I just happened to be wearing those old pair of shoes. And then it hit me that the solution to my problem is not a new pair of shoes. That won't solve my problem. So I went looking for a tangible and sustainable solution. So I mentioned the problem to a friend of mine, and he reminded me of something so simple, yet so powerful. He reminded me of a potent power, a power that I believe has the ability to change your life, a power that I believe has the ability to allow you to do more, to be more. And this is a concept that has been explored throughout the ages. But science today has hard-hitting facts, tangible evidence that an attitude of gratitude, of thanksgiving and appreciation has life-changing and impactful power. It has the ability to change your life and even your shoes. Now, typically growing up, I believe most of us, like me, I was brain tattooed to always say thank you, right? Whatever, whenever, always say thank you if you receive something. Now, I didn't understand why. So I asked, I did a little bit of a survey, and apparently it's the polite and well-mannered thing to do. Now, actually, that's the weakest reason to be grateful and thankful, because the power of gratitude and thankfulness extends far beyond being well-mannered and polite. Now, before we can get to how it actually can impact and change your life, I think we need a bit of a paradigm shift because of how and why we were taught to be grateful. And this is most evident, say, you're walking somewhere through town, through the mall, and you run past a homeless man or a person with a physical disability. What tends to be our initial response? Oh, thank goodness I have a home. Oh, thank goodness I have my arms and legs. You're not grateful. You're not experiencing or expressing true gratitude. You're relieved. You're relieved that you're not in the same position as that person. You're neither grateful nor are you thankful. And I mean, we hear this all the time, be grateful for your food because there's kids who starve and who don't have food. Be grateful that you have running water from your tap because some people don't have water at all to drink. Now, this is a bit of a challenge and a problem I think of. Now, my question is, how can you have true, meaningful, and deep gratitude if your basis for being thankful is the lack of another person? Now, the nature of gratitude is such that you are aware of the fact that you have. Now, you might not have a lot, you might not like what you have, but you have. It's almost a kind of abundance in some form. Now, when you express that other kind of gratitude, that what I would refer to as the cheap kind of gratitude, it's not really being grateful, because it's a relative gratitude. You're not really grateful. You're not really grateful because your gratitude is relative, firstly, and secondly, you really don't mean it. Now, there's research by Dr. Robert Emmons from the University of California, Davis. And in his research, he actually shows that expressing true and meaningful gratitude, not that comparative type that he doesn't, actually has the ability to increase your overall happiness. It has the ability to give you more energy, to make you more enthusiastic, more attentive. But now, this also poses another challenge and an opportunity. How do we maintain the state of gratitude? And based on the research, it's quite simple, really. We just need to focus on the things that we are grateful for. So on a daily or weekly basis, just keep record. 2 minutes. Write down whatever it is that you're grateful for, whether it be the sun in the sky, the work that you have, a passion that you have found, just expressing that gratitude. Now, the argument might be that, okay, cool. Gratitude is great. We need it. It gives us energy. But being grateful won't get you that pair of shoes that you want. And being grateful won't give me more or change my situation. But it actually will. And I found that it actually does through 3 steps. The first is to, firstly, recognize, to acknowledge, and to appreciate. Recognize the fact that you have a beginning point. You're not starting from nowhere. You have your breath. You are alive. You have shoes on. You have a beginning point. The second is to acknowledge. When you acknowledge, you recognize that which you have is good. You're confirming and validating that it's worthwhile and it's good to have. So you recognize that you have breath, and it's good because it means you're alive. You acknowledge that. And the third step is to appreciate. And to appreciate means to feel that true, deep, and meaningful gratitude. Not the cheap imitation kind of gratitude. Feel the true meaningful gratitude. So firstly, you would recognize the fact that, hey, I've got my breath. I'm alive. I acknowledge that this is good. I'm here, I'm around. And thirdly, you are thankful for it. Now, the thing is that, as I've said, it can allow you to have more. The question is now, how? You see, when you place your focus on that which you don't have, and you don't recognize, acknowledge, and appreciate that which you do, you miss the power, the potential, and the possibility of that which you do have moving you to what you want to have. And so I hope that you realize that gratitude isn't just really a matter of just being well-mannered and polite, and that the power of gratitude has the ability to create health, wealth, and happiness in your life. And so I've changed the song in my head. It's no longer, hey, look at me with a somberness. It's, hey, look at me. These shoes are old and worn out, but they serve as a platform, a beginning point. And I'm glad I have them because they will move me to the shoes I want and more. I thank you.